Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Mangalam Bhagavan Viro, Mangalam Gautamo Gani, Mangalam Kunda Kundadyo, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam. Sarva Mangala Mangalyam, Sarva Kalyana Karakam, Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam, Jainam Jaitu Shashanam, Jainam Jaitu Shashanam, Jainam Jaitu Shashanam. So today we are going to continue with the chapter of 7 fundamental elements. Yesterday we were discussing it, and so only 2 elements are left. I think up to bondage we had done, and then we'll be doing stoppage of influx, and then dissociation of bondage, and the last one is liberation. So yesterday there was a request for Hindi, so I'll just read through Hindi chapter once again, and I'll be also stating the English meaning of those words also. And one more thing, we need to have a team leader in our group. So who would take care of the whole group's queries and all, and there is a team leaders group separately going on, wherein all the information regarding the the one information that I sent today, whatever activity is happening around the Upper Magam Honors team or the group, that gets initially posted on the team leaders group, and from there the team leaders responsibility is to share it in the group. So anyways, we need to have one team leader. So Subhaji, you can become a team leader because you will get access to that group also, and there will be a lot of exchange of information also, and you will learn quite a few things while taking this responsibility. So would you be interested?
Sir, I'm very much interested, but I can become team leader in the month of March onwards.
Pardon, your voice is not clear.
Like, I'm very much interested, sir. But can I become the team leader from month of March onwards? Because these 2 months I have a very hectic schedule.
No problem.
Can I have it from month of March onwards?
So once we appoint a team leader, at least for that semester only, they can continue.
Okay, sir. Let me take it from the next semester onwards, sir. Then.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
So Aditi ji, can you become a team leader, because we have to appoint one, and there are some activities already going on in the team leaders group. So you will be a part of team leaders group, and whatever information is being shared there in that group, you have to share it in this group. And if there are any other things that I will let you know. Now the recording part and all that I'm managing, so there is no problem as such. Whatever other functions, once your orientation will happen, you will come to know what are the other functions, but all are very simple, nothing complicated.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So we are appointing Aditi ji as our team leader for this SEM, and Congratulations, Aditi ji. You are having an added responsibility, and then we will keep on changing, and everyone should get a chance and learn from these activities.
Okay, sir.
So yesterday we had already covered up most of the elements, but now again we'll be studying this in Hindi because in terms of understanding and the words given here in the books, it was not being very clear. So we will read through the Hindi version and then again we come back to the English version. And in between, I will be always telling you the English meaning of the difficult words. So the conversation is between Pravachankar and the Mumukshu. So Pravachankar is the lecturer and Mumukshu is the student or a listener. संसार में समस्त प्राणी दुखी दिखाई देते हैं और वे दुख से बचने का उपाय भी करते हैं, परंतु प्रयोजनभूत तत्व की सही जानकारी एवं श्रद्धा के बिना दुख दूर होता नहीं. So in this worldly existence, each and every living being craves for happiness, and they get involved in many activities only for the sole purpose of being happy. So each and every individual wants to be happy and they don't want to suffer from any kind of miseries. And so they put in efforts in that direction. But without knowing the Prayojanbhut Tattva, Dukh dur hota nahi. The miseries cannot be eliminated without knowing the Prayojanbhut Tattva. Now, Prayojanbhut Tattva is essential 7 fundamentals. Essential elements is Prayojanbhut Tattva. ये प्रयोजनभूत तत्व क्या है? मुमुक्षु says, ये प्रयोजनभूत तत्व क्या है जिनकी जानकारी और सही श्रद्धा के बिना दुख दूर नहीं हो सकता? What are those essential fundamentals without whose knowledge and right faith we cannot get rid of worldly unhappiness? प्रवचनकार, दुख दूर करना और सुखी होना ही सच्चा प्रयोजन है, और ऐसे तत्व जिनकी सम्यक श्रद्धा और ज्ञान बिना हमारा दुख दूर न हो सके और हम सुखी न हो सके, उन्हें ही प्रयोजनभूत तत्व कहते हैं. So, दुख दूर करना और सुखी होना ही सच्चा प्रयोजन है, और ऐसे तत्व इज एलिमेंट जिनकी सम्यक श्रद्धा राइट बिलीफ और ज्ञान राइट नॉलेज बिना हमारा दुख दूर ना हो सके. Our miseries don't get eliminated and we become happy, or we cannot become happy, हम सुखी ना हो सके, उन्हें ही प्रयोजनभूत तत्व कहते हैं. तत्व माने वस्तु का सच्चा स्वरूप, राइट? रियल नेचर ऑफ द सब्सटेंस इज कॉल्ड द तत्व. तत्व माने वस्तु का सच्चा स्वरूप. जो वस्तु जैसी है उसका जो भाव, वही तत्व. So, जो वस्तु जैसी है, whatever is the nature of the substance, we need to understand it and then come at a decision. The purport of a substance as it is tattva. Now, I have shared you this guide, Vitrag Vigyan Viveshika by Kalpana Ben. On page number, so I have already shared the index also separately because that index was not there in that version. So I have shared it, and if somebody knows how to join them and have a complete book, and they can help us out and share in the group after doing it. So in this book, there are some very good concepts given here, apart from what we have in textbook, and these all makes very good, interesting reading. So everyone must read through this chapter in the Hindi guide also. So we were here. जो वस्तु जैसी है. So pra is prakusht रूप से, page number 27 I'm reading through. Prayojan bhut, they are explaining the meaning of the word prayojan and then bhut. So prayojan consists of pra plus yuj. So pra is prakusht रूप से, युज मीन्स युक्त होना, जुड़ना, लगना, तन्मय होना. अर्थात जिस काम में हम प्रकृष्ट रूप से लगते हैं, जुड़ते हैं, तन्मय होते हैं, उसे प्रयोजन कहते हैं. सो प्रकृष्ट रूप से मीन्स प्रकृष्ट इज द बेस्ट, द ग्रेटेस्ट. प्रकृष्ट रूप से लगते हैं, जुड़ते हैं. So we get involved in those elements where we join, we align with those elements in a big way. That is known as prayojan. प्रकृष्ट रूप से युक्त होना. And bhut means होना, happening. तत्व शब्द भी तत् प्लस त्व से मिलकर बना है. तत् मीन्स उस वस्तु का, that of that substance, and त्व means मौलिक स्वभाव, inherent nature, right? So tattva is the inherent nature of the substance, and prayojan bhut is prayojan bhut means the one that brings happiness and removes misery is called prayojan bhut tattva. So there are these 7 elements which are prayojan bhut tattva. Means by knowing the true nature of these 7 elements, our purpose of experiencing happiness and removing miseries, that will be executed or that will happen. So what are the names of these 7 elements? Jeev, Ajeev. So Jeev is the soul, Ajeev is non-soul, Asrav is influx, Bandh is what yesterday we had read. Bandh is bondage. Then we have Samvar, stoppage of influx. Nirjara, partial release from bondage or dissociation of bondage. And the last one is moksha or liberation. So these are the 7 fundamental elements. Then प्रश्नकर्ता ask, कृपया संक्षेप में इनका स्वरूप बताइए. Please explain this in brief. So then the speaker or the pravachanकार says, जीव तत्व ज्ञान दर्शन स्वभावी आत्मा को कहते हैं. So what is the soul? So soul is intrinsically an embodiment of knowing activity and perception. So Jeev Tattva is Gyan Darshan Swabhavi Atma. So Jeev Tattva is the soul whose primary activity is knowing and perception. Knowing is Gyan and perception is Darshan. ज्ञान दर्शन स्वभाव से रहित तथा आत्मा से भिन्न समस्त द्रव्य अजीव तत्व कहलाते हैं. So those substances which doesn't have knowledge and perception, and they don't experience also this eternal bliss, are all non-soul entities. पुद्गल आदि समस्त पदार्थ अजीव है. Matter and others are all non-soul objects. So पुद्गल आदि में पुद्गल, धर्म, अधर्म, आकाश, काल. Right? Pudgal is matter, then dharma is medium of motion, adharma is medium of rest, akash is medium of space, and kal is medium of parinaman or medium of transformation. Or the medium of time. So in उद्गली समय इन शरीर आदि सभी अजीब पदार्थों से भिन्न चेतन तत्व ही आत्मा है. So the soul is different from all non-soul elements, and it is the sentient being. Sentient being is called the soul. इन शरीर आदि सभी अजीब पदार्थों से भिन्न चेतन तत्व ही आत्मा है. वह आत्मा ही मैं हूं. Now this is very important कि I am that soul. मुझसे भिन्न पुद्गल आदि 5 द्रव्य अजीव है. So those 5 substances, matter and other, are different from this soul. So those are all non-soul elements, and I am the soul element. So we see there are 2 fundamentals only which we can consider as substance. So one is the soul and the other is non-soul. Now influx and other elements, the other 5 elements, are the combination of soul and non-soul entities. सामान्य रूप से तो जीव और अजीव 2 ही तत्व है. आश्रवादिक तो जीव के ही विशेष है. आश्रवादिक मीन्स आश्रव बंध संवर निर्जरा मोक्ष. ये क्या है? जीव के ही विशेष है. जीव का ही एक्सटेंशन है. जीव का ही परिणमन है. Then there is a question from the Sankakar or the Mumukshu. यदि आश्रवादिक जीव अजीव के ही विशेष है तो इनको पृथक क्यों कहा है? पृथक मीन्स भिन्न. तो उनको भिन्न क्यों कहा है? If influx etc. are only combinations of soul and non-soul elements, why have they been described separately? प्रवचनकार, यहाँ तो मोक्ष का प्रयोजन है. Our ultimate goal is complete liberation. अतः, therefore, आश्रव आदिक, influx, etc. 5 पर्याय रूप विशेष तत्व कहे have been described. Influx, etc. have been described as 5 distinct manifestation. उक्त सातों के यथार्थ श्रद्धान बिना मोक्ष मार्ग नहीं बन सकता. Without having real faith in all these 7 elements, one cannot start on the path of liberation. So now they will explain ki why each element is necessary. You cannot leave any of these elements because ki these 7 constitutes the prayojanbhut tattva, essential elements. So we cannot leave any element from these essential elements. उक्त सातों में यथार्थ श्रद्धान बिना मोक्ष मार्ग नहीं बन सकता, क्योंकि जीव और अजीव को जाने बिना अपने पराये का भेद विज्ञान कैसे हो. How can we have distinctions of the self and the non-self, right? I am myself, the soul, the self, and everything apart from me is non-soul for me. Even all the living beings are soul, but for me all those fall into the category of non-soul because my knowledge is not there, my bliss is not there. So first fundamental is that we should know the living and the non-living entities, soul and the non-soul entities. Then मोक्ष को पहचाने बिना और हित रूप माने बिना उसका उपाय कैसे करें? So one tries to attain Godhood only by knowing its nature, and that is the most coveted state, right? So getting liberated is the ultimate objective of each soul, because even attaining Samyak Darshan or the right belief, soul enjoys or experiences eternal bliss, and in liberation you get complete eternal bliss. So every soul's objective is to attain liberation. So now we know 3 elements which are quite compulsory. First one was soul, second was non-soul, the third one is liberation or moksha. Now we move on to the other elements. मोक्ष का उपाय संवर निर्जरा है, right? So to get liberated, you must know stoppage of influx and partial release from bondage or partial dissociation from bondage, because these are means to complete liberation. So if I want liberation, then I need to know the means for liberation. And when we say means for liberation, it means stoppage of influx and the partial release from bondage. Because the influx keeps on happening, then how can we get liberated? So the influx has to stop. And once the influx stops, and whatever accumulated bondage is there, that will go on dissociating step by step over a period of time. So the first and primary objective is to stop the influx. So stoppage of influx is called samvar, and partial release of bondage to complete liberation means nirjara, right? So we must know samvar and nirjara also. So now we have covered so far soul, non-soul, liberation, stoppage of influx, and partial release from bondage. Jeev, ajeev, moksha, samvar, nirjara. मोक्ष का उपाय संवर निर्जरा है, अत उनका भी जानना आवश्यक है, तथा आश्रव का अभाव सो संवर. So if we want to have stoppage of influx, then we must know आश्रव, because कि आश्रव का अभाव ही संवर है. Absence of influx is partial release from bondage, and partial absence of bondage is release from bondage. आश्रव का अभाव सो संवर है, स्टॉपेज ऑफ इन्फ्लक्स इज संवर, एंड बंध का एक देश अभाव सो निर्जरा है. पार्शियल एब्सेंस ऑफ बॉन्डेज इज निर्जरा. अतः इनको जाने बिना, इनको छोड़ संवर निर्जरा रूप कैसे प्रवर्ते. सो वी हैव इंक्लूडेड stoppage of influx is samvar, and partial release from bondage is nirjara. So absence of influx. So influx, we have to know, if we want to stop the influx, we must know the nature of influx. And if we want to have partial release from bondage, then we must know bondage also. So this completes the 7 elements, right? Soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage of influx, partial release from bondage, and liberation. So these are the 7 elements, and we cannot skip any of the elements to get liberated. We must know these 7, and that's why these 7 are called the fundamental elements, and they are also the prayojanbhut tattva.
Sir,
Yeah.
can you also repeat all the 7 names in Hindi also?
Yeah. Jeev,
Hmm.
ajeev, आश्रव, बंध, संवर, निर्जरा, मोक्ष. Now the student has again doubt. हमने तो प्रवचन में सुना था कि आत्मा तो त्रिकाल शुद्ध, शुद्धाशुद्ध पर्यायों से पृथक है. पृथक मीन्स भिन्न है, वही आश्रय करने योग्य है. भाई, वह द्रव्य दृष्टि के विषय की बात है. आत्मा द्रव्य प्रमाण दृष्टि से शुद्धाशुद्ध पर्यायों से युक्त है. So now we have 2. One is प्रमाण का द्रव्य and one is द्रव्य दृष्टि का विषय, right? So द्रव्य दृष्टि का विषय is also द्रव्य and प्रमाण का विषय is also द्रव्य. Now we will understand the difference between the 2. So praman ka dravya means the complete substance. When we say complete substance, it includes attributes and modification, right? But when we say Dravya Drashti ka Vishay, right? That means the spiritual vision or the absolute viewpoint of substance, right? So that is called the Dravya Drashti. So in that, we don't include attributes also. We don't include pure and impure modifications also, right? So that pure soul is nothing but different from all other external substances, first part. Second part is it is different from attributes. And the third part is it is different from pure and impure manifestations. So this is the pure soul. And this is Drashtika Vishay. And this is where we need to put our identity into. And once we put ourselves into that place of pure soul, then only we can achieve Samyak Darshan or the right belief. And then we can go ahead in the path of liberation and attain liberation. So the beginning is from the right belief that you are the pure soul. So there is one substance, and in that substance there is substance, attributes, and manifestation. Out of that, Drashti ka Vishay, right? Drashti ka Vishay is the pure soul, right? So there are two things. One is Jeev Dravya and one is Jeev Tattva. So Jeev Tattva is pure soul and Jeev Dravya is the whole substance. That whole substance consists of attributes and pure and impure manifestation all put together is that whole substance. Out of that whole substance, if we focus on manifestations, then also our purpose will not be solved. Even if we put our belief into that attributes, then also our purpose will not be solved. So we need to identify ourselves as the pure soul, which is devoid of external things, which is also devoid of attributes, and which is also devoid of pure and impure manifestations. So now I'll ask you whether you have understood the difference between Jeev Tattva and Jeev Dravya, pure soul and the whole substance. Understood? So when we say whole substance, we include attributes and manifestation. And when we say pure soul, we exclude attributes and manifestation, right? So who are you? If I have to identify myself, how do I define myself? Which one is I am myself? The whole substance or the pure soul? Which one?
Whole
substance.
No, we are pure soul. Because in the whole substance, there is pure manifestation also and impure manifestation also. विभाव भी है और निर्मल पर्याय भी है और वैभविक पर्याय भी है, right? So those vibhavic paryay is not my true nature because it does not arrive by taking refuge in myself. It only arises when we look outside externally and then this gets produced. Okay? So we are the pure soul, right? and that pure soul is full of happiness, uh, calmness, knowledge, perception, and power. There's so many attributes in that, right? So we are that pure soul, which is again uh, different from attributes and modification. So the whole substance includes three things: substance, attributes, and modification. And the pure soul includes only the pure soul. Okay, so this is the primary difference between the two. So the one,
But sir, the pure soul,
yeah,
after knowing everything, it
uh,
does not do anything, right?
right, right. And this is where we need to put our belief into, I am this one. There are manifestations, pure manifestations, impure manifestations, uh, evolving every moment. But I am not that. I am that permanent thing, permanent thing, unchangeable substance that I am. So I am that pure soul, which never changes its form. It is always like that only, as it is, as it is, as it is. Even when we went to uh, subhuman state and in the Ligod state, then also our soul remained indifferent to those bodies. And now also our soul is indifferent to this body. So that soul, nothing happens in that pure soul part. Whatever is happening is on the manifestation part, and that manifestation keeps on changing its form every moment, right? So we have sometimes anger, then that anger goes away, then we have some greed, then sometimes we do have uh, deceitfulness, then sometimes we do have pride. So this keeps on changing, the manifestation keeps on changing. But I am the knower of these things, I'm not the doer of these things. So I remain static as it is, being an observer and not a doer. So now if you can identify yourself as a observer or the knower, then you are having a right belief. But from time immortal, we have never identified ourselves with the pure soul. We have always identified ourselves with the body, with the attachments that we have, with the toxic emotions, kasai, rag, vivav, all we have identified ourselves with. But we never identify ourselves as a pure soul. And just because of that, we are suffering in all the state of existence, and this experiencing this transmigration, yeah, from time immortal. Our fault is we never identify ourselves as the pure soul. But the best part is, even if we don't identify ourselves as the pure soul and assume ourselves to be the body or the toxic emotions or the attachments around us, then also we don't become such. We still remain the pure soul. So if we believe it, then also we are pure soul. If we don't believe it, then also we are pure soul. So if we accept ourselves as pure soul and make a decision about it, then we start enjoying eternal bliss. And if we don't identify ourselves as pure soul, then we keep on suffering. So this is the whole difference between a mundane soul and an enlightened soul. The enlightened soul has identified himself with the pure soul, and the mundane soul uh, does not have that belief in him, and he still believes that he is a body, he is this attachments, he is the toxic emotions and all other things. So this is the primary difference. So knowing the pure soul is very important, because by taking refuge in that pure soul, we are going to start our path of liberation. And as we more practice more differential knowledge, and the happiness portion keeps on increasing and the impure portion keeps on decreasing. And there will come a time when all the impure dispositions have been eliminated and complete manifestation of the pure soul has happened. And that is the stage of omniscience. And then we do move to the liberated stage. So this is the whole process. So it starts with the right belief, right? And right belief means we have to get over the delusion. So we have delusion about all the 7 elements. When we say Jeev Tattva, we don't mean what is Jeev Tattva. We may have read in the scriptures that I am a Jeev, and I may learn it also that I am a Jeev, and I may say that I am a Jeev. But the actual realization or the actual experience is not something that we have done it. So that's why our belief is also not right, and therefore the delusion persists. So when you know the 7 elements differently, each with its distinct characteristics and pure nature, then only we will be able to attain the right belief or the Samyak Darshan. So this is very important. Now I'm taking this question of Yah Dravya Drashti Kya Hai? And I would also like to read from the this text, the guidebook. There is a question given here कि जीव तत्व और जीव द्रव्य में क्या अंतर है? Now I hope everyone knows about the difference between pure soul and the whole substance, जीव तत्व and जीव द्रव्य, right? So if you can understand the difference, then you can identify yourself as the pure soul. And if you identify yourself as the pure soul, then the journey of liberation starts. It is so simple. You don't require very much knowledge to get right belief. Even the animals in the subhuman state, they can also achieve right belief, because if they had studied in their previous birth and somehow the delusion didn't go away, but the process had started, and so they finished their life, human life, and now they are in subhuman state because this was already bound. So they have born in a subhuman state, but still they can attain right belief. So right belief can be attained in all the 4 gatis or the 4 state of existence, whether you are in hell, whether you are in hell or in the celestial beings, or in the subhuman state or the human state. Right belief can be achieved in any of the states. So, यह द्रव्य दृष्टि क्या है? So that was the question. सप्त तत्वों को यथार्थ जानकर, right? So first thing they are telling is सप्त तत्वों को यथार्थ जानकर। The permanent all sentient soul element separate from all non-soul objects and pure and impure influxes and other impure inclinations, as also different from obstruction of influxes of pure and impure implication, is the object of our vision. So the language is not that good. So it is all very confusing, but if you read the Hindi matter, सप्त तत्वों को यथार्थ जानकर, truly knowing the 7 elements, समस्त पर पदार्थ, all non-soul elements, समस्त पर पदार्थ, all anything and everything except me is non-soul element. So samasta par padarth, that is non-soul elements, or shubha shubh asravadik vikari bhav, that means auspicious and inauspicious influx, right? Shubha shubh asrav adik. Adik means asrav ban samvar nijra moksha. So auspicious and inauspicious influx, bondage, stoppage of influx, dissociation of bondage, and liberation. So samast par padarth. So all non-soul external elements and auspicious and inauspicious influx and other elements, other 5 elements, तथा संवर अधिक अविकारी भाव. So संवर is stoppage of influx and nirjara is dissociation of bondage, or the partial partial shedding of impurity from the state of the soul, that is the dissociation of karma. So sapt tattva ko yatharth jankar, by knowing the true nature of 7 elements, samast par padarth, all non-soul elements and auspicious and inauspicious influx and other elements, and samvaradik avikari bhav. So stoppage of influx and other pure manifestation. Se bhi pruthak. Se bhi pruthak means different from that. Jnananand sabhavi trikali dhruv atma tattva hi. So different from those the other non-soul elements, auspicious and inauspicious influx and bondage, and also stoppage of influx, dissociation of bondage, and the liberation, right? All these are, one is impure manifestation, another one is pure manifestation, but this pure soul is different from pure and impure manifestation. And this is Trikali Dhruv. Trikali Dhruv, Dhruv means constant, and Trikali means past, present, and future, all put together. So all times, typically Dhruv Tattva ही दृष्टि का विषय है, right? So this is what we need to understand and put our belief into it. इस दृष्टि से कथन में, इस दृष्टि के कथन में पर विकार और भेद को भी गौण करके, पर इज नॉन सोल, विकार इज टॉक्सिक इमोशंस एंड भेद इज गुण भेद और डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट्स, और भेद को भी गौण करके मीन्स आई एम नॉट हाईलाइटिंग दोज, आई एम जस्ट hiding those or not focusing on those. Matra Traikalik, only all time knowing ज्ञान स्वभाव को आत्मा कहा है. So only knowing consciousness is called the pure soul. और उसके आश्रय से ही धर्म मतलब संवर निजरा प्रकट होता है. And taking refuge in that pure soul, we can manifest stoppage of influx and dissociation of bondage. We can manifest samvar nijra, right? So this is about dravya drashti or the right vision. जिन मोह राग द्वेष भावों के निमित्त से ज्ञानावरण आदि कर्म आते हैं. So now is explaining the other 5 elements. So first one is influx. जिन मोह राग द्वेष भावों के निमित्त से, right? Instrumental cause. What is the instrumental cause? This toxic emotions. Moh, rag, dvesh. Moh is delusion, rag is attachment, द्वेष is aversion. जिन मोह राग द्वेष भावों के निमित्त से ज्ञानावरण आदि कर्म आते हैं. The delusions, attachment and aversions that attract karmic matter of 8 kinds, ज्ञानावरण आदि कर्म, 8 प्रकार के कर्म, are called psychic influxes, right? So this is भावाश्रव. जिन मोह राग द्वेष भावों के निमित्त से ज्ञानावरण आदि कर्म आते हैं, उन मोह राग द्वेष भावों को तो भावाश्रव कहते हैं. The delusions, attachment and aversions that attract karmic matter of 8 kinds are called psychic influxes. Now we are learning the other one, द्रव्याश्रव. उसके निमित्त से ज्ञानावरण आदि कर्मों का स्वयं आना द्रव्य आश्रव. And the arrival of the karmas that obstructing consciousness is material influx. So material influx is what? It is the arrival of the karmas, and those karmas, 8 types of karmas, the arrival of the 8 types of karmas is called the material influx.
Sir, can you give an example for material influx?
So I'll give an example after explaining the 7. There is a very famous example about the boat.
Okay.
So you know about that example of boat?
A slight, just know some few things I know it, sir. Water entering the boat.
Yeah, water entering the boat. So now you know about that. So in that, by that example, all the 7 elements can be explained, and then there are other examples also that also I will relate. So let's first understand the whole 7 elements. Now we are moving on to the influx part, the 5 special kind of elements, right? So 2 were fundamentals, Jeev and Ajeev, and the other 5 were extension of Jeev and Ajeev. So we will have 2 types of elements in each of these 5 one. So first is psychic influx, and the second is material influx, bhavasrav and dravyasrav. Similarly, there will be bhavbandh and dravyabandh. इसी प्रकार आत्मा का अज्ञान, मोह, राग, द्वेष, पुण्य, पाप आदि विभाव भाव में रुक जाना, get involved, get indulged into all these toxic emotions, right? रुक जाना, सो भाव बंद है. In the same way, souls settling in non-consciousness, delusion, attachment and aversion. So non-consciousness is ajnan, delusion is moh, rag is attachment, and dvesh is aversion. And punya pap, merit and demerit, auspicious and inauspicious, adi vibhav bhavo, and other impurities is called psychic bondage, right? भाव बंध. और उसके निमित्त से पुद्गल का स्वयं कर्म रूप बंधना सो द्रव्य बंध है. And the settling of the karmic matter in the soul space on account of those is called material bondage. So there is one psychic bondage and there is one material bondage. Psychic bondage is all type of impurities or the impure toxic emotions is called psychic bondage, and the karmic matter or the physical karma, right, in the soul space on account of those psychic bondage is called material bondage. So now we move on to samvar, stoppage of influx. These are also of 2 kinds, bhav samvar, dravya samvar. In between there is a question, पुण्य पाप को बंध के साथ क्यों जोड़ दिया है? I'll read the questions. Why have merits and demerits been included in bondage? Merits and demerits are only parts of influx and bondage. It is written here bondage only, but influx will also be should be written there. भाई पुण्य और पाप आश्रव बंध के ही अवान्तर भेद है, right? Are only parts of influx and bondage. शुभ राग से पुण्य का आश्रव और बंध होता है और अशुभ राग से द्वेष और मोह से पाप का आश्रव और बंध होता है. Attachment towards higher entities and inclinations attract merit influxes, that is punya, and bondage. And impure inclinations and actions, aversions and delusions attract demerit influxes and bondage, right? So आश्रव और बंध, right? कैसे होता है? Why the question was कि why punya pap is also included in influx and bondage. Merits and demerits are only parts of influx and bondage. Attachment towards higher entities and inclination attract merit influxes, and bondage and impure implication and action, aversion and delusion attract demerit influxes and bondage. Both types of attachment, good or bad, that is merits and demerits, are to be shunned because they are influx and bondage elements. शुभ और अशुभ दोनों ही प्रकार का राग अर्थात पुण्य और पाप दोनों ही छोड़ने योग्य है, क्योंकि वे आश्रव और बंध तत्व है। पुण्य पाप के विकारी भाव आश्रव को आत्मा शुद्ध वितरागी भावों से रोकना सो भाव संवर है। So this needs to be explained in detail. So now our time is over. So in the next class, we will begin from this Samvar, Nirjara and Moksha. So yesterday also we left over there, and today also we are leaving there. But by spending again 1 hour, we have understood it more clearly, I suppose. And if you read through this chapter 2-3 times, not one time, but 2-3 times, and again that guidebook by Kalpana Ben, then I think you will become a master here and now itself, and you will start enjoying also immediately. And when we read it again and again in the coming time, then it will become more easy for you. So you need to work hard on it and understand it properly. And in between, if you have any question, you can always ask me personally on my personal chat. Don't hesitate, but you must understand this chapter thoroughly. Okay, Subhaji?
Yes, I feel better when compared to last class today. Yeah, that's true.
Just explore, since now it is being taught, just explore from whichever sources you get. You don't know Hindi, no? There been nothing?
Yeah.
Nothing?
I don't know Hindi, sir. Right? I can understand few words. That's all.
So
and here also, when you're saying that delusion, attachment, aversion, and all that, a little bit struggle there because I don't know what is the exact meaning of that one, either in Hindi nor in Tamil. So now only I'm just exploring it, and I found that the delusion.
So try a bit, and you call me again if it is not clear to you. I will explain you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Ji.
And in the next class also, we will clear all the doubts if anyone has having. And when you share it in the class, it also benefits other students also. So ideally, you should ask in class only, but if not, whenever you are reading personally, and if you have this question in your mind, then you should call me up and ask anytime. And I will be more than happy to explain, clear your doubts. And because this is a very important chapter. So I also would not like to move ahead very fast without ensuring that you all have understood this. So maybe it may take one more class, but I don't mind it, because once this fundamentals is established properly, then it will become very easy for you to get into further concepts. Okay, so first let me close the YouTube one.